So, Trevon, with that being said, who is your sneaky team in the West? And when I say sneaky team, I'm not saying this team is just going to come out of nowhere and win the championship. I'm saying more of this is the team that a lot of people think are going to be bad or be at the bottom of the league, or a team that not many people are expecting a whole bunch in terms of wins and losses, but on any given night this team can win and they're going to be competitive. So who is that team for you in the West?
I thought about saying Portland because when I looked at their starting five roster, the projections for the starting five come out every year. I
Mm-hmm.
saw that starting five and I was like, this could be a pretty good team. I thought about Oklahoma City, but I wouldn't really consider them sneaky because a lot of people are projecting them to take that next step as far as
Mm-hmm.
a winning playoff basketball team. But man, when I look at the San Antonio Spurs and just their roster, it has to be them for me. Not only because of Wemby, even coming into the season with Wemby, I didn't have much expectation for them to be the most competitive team. But the rest of that roster, the starter five, I don't believe there's a player below the height of 6'7", for sure 6'6". They have a lot of people. Jeremy Shohan is their point guard. He was their starting point guard in the preseason. I don't know if you guys saw them play against the Golden State Warriors, but just having that ability to take advantage of size, we've seen the 2020 Lakers do it in previous years. The Milwaukee Bucks are a very big team. The Denver Nuggets have good aggregate size everywhere. I feel like that's a very good thing for your roster to have, and they have that. And then on top of that, you add a freaking 7'4" player, Victor Wembanyama. So I think they have a lot of good options where they can go to. They can utilize their length. Devin Vassell is a very explosive scorer. He came from Florida State. Florida State is known for getting tall, lengthy players. You think of Scotty Barnes in Toronto. Jonathan Isaac is a tall, lengthy players. Those are the type of guys they have. You have that in a Devin Vassell, who's a very good scorer, and other players as well. Zach Collins is playing the five. Wemby is playing the four, guarding the perimeter. So just for that alone, that really stood out to me. And I feel like in the preseason game is pretty much what solidified it for me. The game against the Warriors. The Warriors are an experienced group. Yeah, they're small, but they're an experienced veteran team with a superstar. And Steph and the rest of those guys down the roster are veterans. And the Spurs really held their own and kept a good distance and was competing that whole game. So I think they're going to be better than what I expected coming into this season.
Yeah, no, the Spurs I think are also going to be better than what I expected as well. And that lineup, man, it with the five players that are like over 6'6", it's pretty crazy. This preseason has been super fun to watch when I'm watching the Spurs, and Victor Wembanyama has just kind of changed that whole um
Man,
perspective, or that whole team in terms of where you think that they'll be this season. So it's just fun to watch, and I think that's a really good pick. So I really like that pick, but I'm gonna go with the Rockets. I think the Spurs probably are that, but just to give people another one from my perspective, I'm gonna go with the Rockets. I think the trades they've made over the off season are just going to help them out. You have Ime Udoka, who did a really good job in Boston a few years ago, who's going to come over and coach this young team. And when you have Fred Van Vliet coming over from Toronto, who's going to be looking to continue to improve and show why he got the contract he got. You also have Dylan Brooks coming off of a season where a lot of people have doubted him, coming from the Memphis situation as well, where they didn't perform as well as they would have thought in the playoffs. So he's going to be coming, looking to show people that he can be a productive player in this league. And obviously, you think of Jalen Green, who is a young player and is super exciting, has all of these athletic abilities that show that show you
yeah. Uh,
something new every time, or something like
Hopefully he
fun to
takes
watch.
that. Hopefully he takes that next step. Jalen,
Yeah,
because
yeah, and then you also have Jabari Smith, who had a really good summer league performance and has looked like he's continued to improve his game. Then you have Shangun, who I think is a underrated player. A lot of people don't really pay attention to, but he's a really good player as well. So if if you're not thinking the Spurs are a sneaky team, I think you can also look at the Rockets and see them as a potential team that can win on any given day, so or any given night. So it's going to be fun to watch both of those teams, man.
definitely, yeah, that's another good team. I don't know if you saw the preseason game against the Pelicans. They ran them out the gym. Like
Yeah,
I'm telling you, they ran them out the gym, and it's just athleticism, and not to mention Cam Whitmore, who a lot of people are considering
man.
a steal in the draft. Every time I go on Twitter, like I got a lot of Lakers feeds on my Twitter. They're like, "Man, how did we not get Cam Whitmore? How did we not get Cam Whitmore?" So, just all across the board, and you give Ime Udoka that team, I think he can do something with it. Um, so I like that team also.